Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News Radio, and NBC Sports Station, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Podchaser, JioSaavn, and more. And I'm so delighted that you've joined me this morning for my show 927, I believe, consecutive 573. I forgot to change that, consecutive weeks on the air. And I'm so grateful that all those people who said a show about hope and happiness would not last, we're coming up on 11 years. And I'm thankful for all of your support, for all of my fabulous guests. What we've got coming up is, you remember, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, Dr. John Gray, mega bestseller in the 90s. He's coming back for the third time. Keiko Matsui, the #1 recognized name in Japan. She's a #1 Billboard artist many times. And my sister, as a result of being a guest on my show, she's coming on for the 6th time. That's all coming up this week and next. Asian Oprah giveaways, tickets, free tickets to the Cerritos Performing Arts Center for her performance, as well as for the Saban Theater, another one of my sponsors. So just keep it here. Thank you for tuning in. And it's Monday. And we have an antidote for rainy days, and Mondays always get me up. Hashtag UP Unlimited Possibilities. And that's what we're starting with today. Please welcome to the show my happiness coachee today. Her name is Brittany. Welcome, Brittany. Good morning, Brittany.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. And we're going to jump right in to how I can try to help up-level your happiness with some advice from my #1 best-selling book, a little commercial here, 8 Ways to Happiness, not written as a psychologist telling you how to be happy, but from my own personal experiences, being one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma and some other stuff that didn't go well, but we can all choose to be happy. After that, a little recap of Earth Day. And then I have a special guest. His name is Timothy Peterson. He will be coming on to share his poetry. So packed show, but let's get started. Brittany, let's see, close your eyes real quick. We're going to connect with breath. Gently take a breath in through your nose and releasing soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in and releasing all the stories and the drama, connecting with your mind, first with your body, then the mind. And then one last deep breath in, connecting with me through chi, eternal energy, the breath of life, no beginning, no end. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And the first thing that pops to your mind that does bother you, that sort of, you wake up in the morning and you don't want to think about it, but you think about it, or the last thing at night, you don't want to think about it. What's that one thing that you wish either never happened or you wish you could change? Let's just start right in.
Oh man, digging deep, huh? I love it.
That's because you told me you only had a half an hour, so we're doing this speedy.
I think, well, I it's not something that really necessarily bothers me, but I feel like my personality type, if I'm not working hard, I feel like, I'm no good and I'm not good enough. And I think that especially for someone who's high achievers, I feel like it's something that can bother me. Like if I need to always do something in order for me to feel my worth. What would you say is a good way to combat that?
I'm so glad that that's the topic. It's one of my favorites because I resemble that. And even if you've had the most healthy childhood, it's funny, around the age of, it used to be 10, now it can be even younger. And I used to love doing career days. And my daughters would be so embarrassed, but I would love to go into the classroom. And around that age, you begin to have this voice that you're talking about that comes up and attacks you and says, you're not doing enough. You shouldn't have said that. You should have said that. You should be doing this. You shouldn't do that. Who do you think you are? If people really knew you, they would say, or they wouldn't say, you did that, but you're only as good as your last whatever, right? Yes, that's good, but it could be better. And all of that. Does that sound familiar?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay. 99 compliments, one insult, one constructive criticism. Where does your mind go?
Like when I get that constructive criticism,
Yes.
I just think, okay, I have to get better.
Yeah. But you had 9 compliments before that.
Yeah. I don't hear those. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Exactly. So this is a common dis-ease. It's a disease called perfectionism. And you don't have to have, as I said, critical parents, but they help develop. I grew up with a lot of constructive criticism. I was told I was fat, ugly, and clumsy. And it was a negative motivation, which is common in Chinese culture, to make sure that you don't become clumsy, fat, and ugly. So that's what I grew up with, and I know I'm not alone for the majority of us. And then, as I said before, you don't even have to have that. So what are we going to do with that? So we're going to call that voice a name. Okay. So, my critic's name is Rose. Guess what my mom's name is?
Rose.
Right. So, and this is not, I love my mom. I know she did the best that she could. She had a horrible, critic in her life as well. And, you do what you know, right? And so, I'm not criticizing my mom by naming my critic Rose. I do it because it automatically helps me identify the voice that is called the critic. Okay. So what would your critic's name or initials be without criticizing that person?
Yeah. So I feel like for me, it's not necessarily a person, because I think my parents were actually very encouraging. But I think it could possibly stem from just being a twin, and people just, so it was always, who's the skinny one? Who's the fat one? Who's the smart one? Who's the dumb one? Who's this one? Who's that one? So it wasn't like necessarily I feel like my parents or like my close family, because we would never compete against each other. My parents always said, don't compete against each other, compete with each other, and like kick everyone's butt. So we've always been like that.
Yeah.
Even if someone tries to get in between us, like there's like no way you're ever going to get in between us. So I feel like it might come from like outside sources who are just trying to figure out who we are. Like, oh, well, she's the one who's like this, or she's the more like stylish one. She's the cool one. She's the this. She's the more friendly. And it's like, no, we're both friendly. We're both cool. We're both stylish, right?
Right. And therein began the fight with the voice. Yeah. So I would suggest that you name your critic for identification purposes, not the name of your twin, but that you acknowledge that by calling it Tweenie. So her name is Tweenie. And when Tweenie starts going with the you're being lazy, you're not doing enough, and you would take a breath, and let me introduce you to the most important person in your life. And that is balanced, centered Brittany. Okay. So you are now balanced, centered Brittany. So do one of these. Hi, Brittany, balanced, centered Brittany. Okay. And that is who you are at the core of who you are.
Yeah.
And there's an exercise in the book too that we're not going to have time, but you fill in all of those things that you know you are that are beyond being a twin or a daughter, right? Not what you do for others, but the core of who you are. You're a nice person. You're stylish, as you said, all of those adjectives that you know, if you didn't have that tweenie yapping in your ear, you know that you're more than good enough, right? And when you're connected, when you're in meditation, when you're in gratitude, that's what you know. But when you're out of it, that's when you begin to, be a little bit less solid. So the way I want you to identify Tweenie is just go, hey, Tweenie, I hear you, right? I hear you here. And let's just take a breath. And when you take that breath, you're going to anchor and then bring down or anchor or solidify who you really are, which is balanced, centered Brittany. Got it? So practice with me. You're going to take, we're going to, Brittany, you didn't get all that done on Friday, and now it's like Monday and you missed it, and don't forget to call. What do you say?
I say, okay, Tweenie, that's enough from you. And just close my eyes and be like, okay, I am balanced, centered Brittany.
Right. And then sometimes I call it driving your life car. So you're going to literally take Tweenie and say, you've been yelling at me like all weekend, in fact, probably years, and you gotta be tired. You gotta be exhausted. I'm gonna let you sit in the passenger seat. You can front seat drive if you'd like, but I got this. I got life. I got all the beautiful things that are going to come in the joyride of my life, and I am going to drive. Take a seat, put your seatbelt on, and enjoy the ride. Okay. So it's an active, and I know when I grew up, people would say, if you hear voices in your head, you're crazy, right? I know that if you don't soothe the voices in your head, you will go crazy. Now, the other thing I want to make sure you don't kill Tweenie. Because some people coaches or therapists will say, kill the critic, stab them, throw them up the window on the 405. The critic actually has a flip side, which is protector. And thanks to Tweenie, you don't have red burnt hands from the stove. You weren't run over, crossing the street, because there is a role for that protector. But for most of us, that protector overdid it, and now our entire lives we can't be happy because the critic says you can't be happy until you've achieved this. You can't happy until you have a great relationship. You can't be happy until your twin is successful as you. All of that BS bullshit-taki that is manufactured because you have the habit of allowing your critic to drive your life car. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I want you to love her. I want you to thank her. And then I want you to drive the life car. And when you drive, I want you to actively start with gratitude every single morning. So this is a practice that we do on the show. It's called Breakfast with Dr. Marissa, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So why don't we practice this? What do you do usually first thing in the morning when you wake up?
Try not to hit the snooze button.
Perfect. Thank you for being honest, because I just gave you time, because people say, I don't have time to do this. And it's like, no, you have time. One less snooze button and you have time to do what I'm talking about. So for the next 30 days, if you'd like to play, it is don't hit snooze. Actually sit up, turn the alarm off, close your eyes, take that deep breath, and then what are 8 specific things that you are grateful for? 8 specific things that you are grateful for. So I'll start. It's outside of yourself. Okay. I'm grateful that I get to do happiness coaching, which is one of my favorite things that I am blessed to participate in this joyride called life. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for my husband.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I am grateful that my nephew sent me on WhatsApp a beautiful show of the aurora borealis in Australia, which I guess happened over the weekend. And what a blessing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would say I am grateful for where we live. It's beautiful, right by the beach, great, amazing place with really great energy and amazing people.
Fabulous. I am grateful for showers, hot showers, cold showers. I got down to the gym and man, I'm still a little glistening here. But I'm grateful that we have showers of whatever temperature you'd like. Last
Yeah.
one.
Okay, I would say I am grateful that you invited me to be here today.
Hmm. Beautiful. All right. Now, that was the top of the bun. At the end of the night tonight, what do you usually think about as you're falling asleep or as you're trying to fall asleep?
I don't know. I never thought about that.
Okay. So most people think about, especially, oh, we got a finger on that one, by the way. For those of you who just tuned in and wondering what's going on with Dr. Marissa Studio this morning, I have a beautiful happiness coachee who is happy to have me help her up level her happiness. We've identified that she has the dis-ease called perfectionism, which means she's a little harder on herself than she needs to be. And we're practicing that. And you are tuned into KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. Home to the Asian Oprah AM. Did I say I did already? So the station that leaves no listener behind. All right. So now we go to the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation. Now, appreciation is a little different than gratitude. Some people use it interchangeably. For me, I take the teachings from Abraham Hicks' Law of Attraction, where appreciation is an energetic vibration about who you are. At least I define it that way. What do you like about yourself? And the reason why I do this is we are such an externally driven society right now. We're always looking around for approval. We're looking for likes. We're looking for fingers, not that finger, this finger, literally. And so we are weak in affirming ourselves. And so for me, the foundation of good mental health is self-care, self-love, self-approval. So before you go to bed, instead of thinking about what I haven't done, what still needs to be done, who's done me wrong, what do I like about me? Got it? I appreciate that no matter how tired I am, I seem to be able to find the reserve, that last little bit of gas in the tank, even when your thing's at empty, to do what I do. So I appreciate that. What do you appreciate about yourself?
I would say I appreciate that I have a lot of stamina to just keep going.
We both
And
have.
I do want to say one thing. I love this because most of the time you'll hear people talk about gratitude and being grateful in the morning, being grateful at night, being grateful, but we never pause to be grateful for ourselves and appreciate ourselves. I think this is really, this is awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you for that affirmation. I believe so too. I appreciate that I know how to make myself feel better. This is this was not overnight. This was not automatic, but it is definitely a skill that I have developed, and I appreciate that I work at it. It's part of my hashtag Blisscipline.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
I would say I appreciate that I have discipline and drive.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I have a great sense of humor, even if I'm the only one laughing. That laughter is my favorite sound in the world.
Yes, and you're always smiling. I appreciate, I don't know, this is kind of tough now. I'm like, these are the major things. I just appreciate that I have vision for the future.
Beautiful. I appreciate that I am kind 88% of the time. So 12% of the time, there's another character we all have. We don't have time to go into it today. If you get the book, 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. By the way, if you want to be a coachee like Brittany, she's getting a free copy, audiobook copy of this book as a result of coming on today and being a volunteer for happiness coaching. But another character is the brat. And the brat is the one that says, what do you mean I can't have that donut? Or what do you mean? Or I should do this. Or that also is the part of me that's not nice 12% of the time. I catch myself, what? What are you saying? I can't believe you did that. That's the brat. So you can definitely be kind 88% of the time, and then let the brat have their time just a little bit.
I love that. Okay, so something I appreciate about myself is I appreciate that I have I'm able to be understanding of other people and have patience with others.
Beautiful. And that's it. That's a tool that I want you to use for the next 30 days. And then I want to know what changed in your day. Okay. Do we have an agreement?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
we do.
One of these. Yeah. Right. Peace bump. So that is what I am prescribing for you. Thank you so much, Brittany, for coming on. It's been wonderful getting to know you a little better, and I hope that helps you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And that is Happiness Coaching with all right. And then I wanted to give you a little recap of an activity that I got to go to at the end of last week, which is Earth Day. Yeah, I didn't really have a show on it this year because it fell on a Saturday. And this is a very small recap, but I did want to bring it out. I have a great corporate client that I get to do strategic planning with, and they put on a beautiful Earth Day. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of that, and followed by a word from our sponsor for today's show. And when we come back, I have a brilliant poet. I am so grateful for Amanda Gorman, who reignited my love for the spoken word. You may remember her speaking at the inauguration. And as a result, when I hear people who have a gift for the spoken word, I invite them very spontaneously. So he'll be coming up next. His name is Timothy Peterson, but enjoy my Earth Day recap. All right. I got to play a game and I won. And this was on the property out in Chino Hills. And this will be an upcoming guest. They were one of the participants, a wonderful organization that I will be bringing on the air. And that was Earth Day 2023 with the Inland Empire Utilities Agency. Dr. Marissa here. You know me as the Asian Oprah and the host producer of your daily morning 8 a.m. show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every weekday morning on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I have a question for you. Did you know that collagen accounts for 30% of your body's protein? It provides structure, support, and strength to your skin, muscles, bone, and connective tissues. It's not a fat or pill. It's a scientifically developed formula easily added to your diet, combining 5 types of collagen, the moisturizing power of hyaluronic acid, and biotin. Collagen relieves joint inflammation while stimulating growth and repair of cartilage tissue. In short, Revive helps heal your body from the inside out. Get ready to feel alive and revived with Brightcore at www.tryrevivenow.com. Why? Because you deserve to love your life.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. But the central place that you can get all of my past 972 shows, podcasts, is my YouTube channel, where if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert every weekday, 8 a.m. for the newest show. And join me live, where you can make comments and questions in the chat. You can also stream on my LinkedIn and Facebook pages, and make sure you go and give me the finger. Not that one, but this one. You can also get my playlist, Red Carpet playlist, with interviews with people like Halle Berry, John Travolta, Priscilla Presley, The Temptations, and just amazing people that I have had the honor and the blessing in these last almost 11 years to meet on the stops in a joyride of my life. You just heard some happiness coaching and a little recap from Earth Day at IEUA out in Chino Hills. And now I have a very special guest for you. And Tim, could you turn off the, let's see, either you have another device on, because I'm coming in as an echo. Is that perfect? No, I'm still there. So there's some other, you need to turn it off fully. Otherwise, we're going to get what sounds like a gerbil. All right.
Is that better?
No. Polly, let me, I'm going to hang up with you. Maybe that's it. Hold on one second. Let's see if that's it. Speak for me, Tim. No, it's still there. Do you have someone on the phone or?
No, I don't have anything. Let me try to move.
Okay. Yeah, there's an echo here, and I would hate to lose that any part of your poetry. So I happened to meet Tim and hear his beautiful word. I'm going to have him sort of launch right into his poetry, and then afterwards find out some more about how he got.
All right. So the one that I'm going to read for you is called Self-Worth. Just kind of finding my identity through written word. And I'll just jump into it. Self-worth, self-esteem, persona, and identity. All words we throw around usually attached to how you see me. What you think, want, and feel control my image so frequently. In that mirror, who I see, who I try to be, all those attachments I think I need. One more like, one more smile, one more word of praise, as important as the air I breathe. I want to be free of those chains. Shake off the doubt, the fear, the shame. God made me unique. We aren't meant to be the same. So I try to abstain from the social game of new names in my friend list. The self-induced pain of trying to change just to remain relevant. It begins within, opening the door, that closet with the skeletons, that delicate evaluation of my own relevance tied to my past mistakes and embarrassments. Those times I choose settling instead of excellence. My mind, my own impediment, ever questioning my own intelligence. The way I really feel in a room, yeah, that elephant. Choosing mediocrity, self-negligence, giving up instead of betterment. Today I choose more. Today I choose to acknowledge my own worth. I accept the pain and lessons for what they were. Experience needed for my true self to emerge. Not defined by the hurt, but defined by the strength of surviving what occurred. No longer a slave of what you've heard, not a words. Need that dream girl. Although I acknowledge women are queens, I don't need a her to confirm my purpose on this earth. The price I've paid was for reason, the reason I'm still breathing. All that pain, it had its season, and I can't wallow in those I've lost, but I can grieve them. Self-loathing and pity akin to self-treason. I can want people in my life, but I don't need them. I can still be considerate without people-pleasing. I must release the legions of demons that tell me I'm not good enough. I deserve love. I deserve fun. I deserve to hold my head high around anyone. That old chapter is done. My new journey has just begun. I and only I choose the person I've become. I have to face the mirror and forgive myself for the things I've done. I am stronger for that past and deserving of a good future. I am not a useless piece of trash. I'm a survivor. I'm a trooper. Pick up the pieces of broken glass and turn them into a work of art. Live my life with an open mind and live it with an open heart. Not a victim. I choose my destiny. My story isn't done. There's so much more left for me. I will own the reflection in that mirror. I choose who I will see. I choose who I will be. I choose to be free. I will succeed at being me and rebuild my self-esteem. Get up off my knees. I believe. I believe I can be great. Let go of the self-hate. Elevate my mental state to a higher plane. I am worthy, and that's a fact. So to myself, I make this pact to stay on a forward track and never go back. The freedom is where it's at. Self-love unearthed on this path. Let faith pick up the slack and hope fill in the areas I lack. Let love fill in the cracks and build my esteem through esteemable acts. Yes, this is the way I'm meant to live. Don't just settle, but flourish. Don't settle for less. Become my best. So to myself I attest, and to myself I profess to live each day as it is and always try to be my best.
Wow. I mean, I heard that the first time and it hit me just as much this time. You you definitely have a gift, and I hope you will, no matter what is in the head and no matter what tries to sabotage you, you better keep writing, Mr. Tim Peterson, because those are some powerful ways to use your mind and your life. So thank you for agreeing to come and share that. I want you to re-say from there's two sections that I just want you to highlight again before we move to your other one, which I still haven't heard, and I didn't want to hear it ahead of time because, and I know it's what put you on the map, because the first part where you said the 3 words and then I'm going to stop you, and then I want you to jump to the part of treason. Do you know where I'm talking about? Because
Yeah.
that is the most, for me, I want every single person on the planet to hear, oh, I'm getting like goosebumps, to hear that section that I think if everyone could hear and embody and heal the heart and the soul of themselves and quit living in the self-hate or loathing that you speak to, we would have world peace. So that's part of my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people. So please listen to Tim with these words.
I'm pulling it back up now. I had closed it out. So 1 second.
No worries. No worries. We have time. Because I really heard it. Like, I mean, I heard it the first time, but I just think it's beautiful the way you said it.
So I wrote it 2 days ago, so it's not memorized yet. So I'm getting to it. The next one I'm doing, I have memorized, so I can cut this device off. All right. Almost there.
No problem. Take your time. I have to mute myself so I don't echo over there. And now I understand because you have another device on. Why we're getting that. But hey, 2 days ago, you coming up with that, you get all the buys.
You were the first group to hear it, so
Yay! See, aren't you lucky to be part of my Happy 88 tribe, y'all out there listening? Thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Marissa, and take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with me every weekday morning on NBC News Radio, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. I have with me this morning, you heard the happiness coaching, you saw the little clip of Earth Day recap, and now you have Tim Peterson, who I accidentally, that means not accidentally, heard his poetry and invited him on because I wanted you to hear this, because I want you all to have the best mental health possible so that we can get out of this PP post-pandemic stress disorder that I'm calling it, and get back into loving life and loving ourselves. Here we go.
Okay, so you said the self-treason part, correct?
That is correct.
So it says self-loathing and pity akin to self-treason. No, what did you want to hear on that part?
Okay, so I just want from that point and just go until the end.
Okay, so self-loathing and pity akin to self-treason. I can want people in my life but don't need them. I can be considerate without people-pleasing. I must release the demons that tell me I'm not good enough. I deserve love. I deserve fun. I deserve to hold my head high around anyone. That old chapter is done and my new journey has just begun. I and only I choose the person I become. Face the mirror and forgive myself for the things I've done. I'm stronger for my past and deserving of a good future. I'm not a useless piece of trash. I'm a survivor. I'm a trooper. Pick up the broken piece of glass and turn them into a work of art. Live my life with an open mind and live it with an open heart. Not a victim. I choose my destiny. My story isn't done. There's so much more left for me. I will own the reflection in that mirror. I choose who I will see. I choose who I will be, and I choose to be free. I will succeed at being me and rebuild my self-esteem. Get up off my knees, I believe. I believe I can be great. Let go of the self-hate. Elevate my mental state to a higher plane. I am worthy, and that's a fact. So to myself, I make this pact. To stay on a forward track, I am never going back. This freedom is where it's at. Self-love is an earth on this path. Let faith pick up the slack. Hope fill the areas I lack. Let love fill in the cracks and build my esteem through esteemable acts. Yes, this is the way I'm meant to live. Don't just exist, but flourish. Don't settle for less. Never rest or give in to the stress. So to myself, I attest. To myself, I profess to live each day as it is and always try to be my best.
days ago you finished that?
Yeah, I wrote it 2 days ago. I just go on little spans where I write, and I just don't stop until I finish it and see what comes out. That one I was pretty happy with. So
I feel like I know you just from your words. Okay, now we're going to move to the other one just because I don't want to hear myself echo. So close that out. And this one is, when did you write Jack and Jill?
So I wrote this a couple of years ago. It is a story. It's a pretty tragic story about the current epidemic going on in the country with addiction and mental health crisis. It tells the story of two high school students who, with dreams and ambitions, they find their way into addiction, and it ends tragically. But the message at the end is of reaching out and having people get involved and try to make a difference with addiction with our youth today. So.
Beautiful. And you can find all of Tim Peterson's poetry at his website, hazyspacefairy.wordpress.com. And we're just going to listen now to Jack and Jill.
All right. So I'm going to tell you a story. It's a very common tune about two people, Jack and Jill, and this is what they've been through. High school was wrapping up when Jill met Jack. You see, Jill was sought after, but that Jackie was a Mac. It was a graduation party, and everyone was having fun. Jill had never drank before, but everyone was having some. They danced and they laughed as they had a few beers. Then they climbed in Jill's car. They had no fear because Jack lived near. A block from Jack's house, Jill ran a stop sign. There was a truck coming through, and Jill couldn't stop in time. She smacked into the truck, and everything went black. Jack was hurt real bad. The doctors barely brought him back. Jill felt so guilty as Jack fought to rehab. She stuck by his side. They shared his pills, and it got bad. They both loved the feeling of Jack's Oxycontin. All the guilt and the shame and all the pain was forgotten, until eventually that doctor said, "Jack, you get no more." Jack and Jill, they were in trouble, as it was the pills they now lived for. So in their desperation, they sought him out in the street, but instead they found Fett and went from snorting to IVs. So here it was at just 19. They both had a habit. They stole, they lied, they robbed, all for a bag. They had to have it. Jill had to do things. Jack pulled his gun on anyone. They had warrants for their deeds, and so were living on the run until late one night. Jack and Jill went up the hill to where those boys were trapping. First Jack, then Jill came crashing down, and this is how it happened. They got high behind a church and nodded out when they were through. When Jill finally awoke, Jack wasn't breathing. He was blue. Jill, she blamed herself and spiraled into depression. She felt like life was over, plus the dope just wasn't helping. So on the night they buried Jack, Jill was nowhere to be found. They found her body the next day, floating river face down. She had left a note on the bridge that she jumped from. Her mother read it at her wake, and this is how it begun. To my family and my friends, I'm sorry to have hurt you. To my mom, my dad, I'm sorry for what you were put through. It's like we never stood a chance. Life turned to dust before our eyes. It began as harmless fun. Before I knew it, Jack had died. We both planned to become doctors. We loved life and we had hope, but our dreams were traded in for a needle and bag of dope. Our story is not unique, but our voices are rarely heard. We're overlooked across this country, from projects to suburbs. This is the true pandemic, but we act like we're all immune until you are the person giving a speech inside this room. The guilt, the shame, regret that we feel in active addiction push us deeper into despair. We create a lonely prison. Connection is the key to a disease of isolation. We must love our addicts back and come together as a nation. We're all someone's son, someone's daughter, sister, brother, an aunt or an uncle, someone's father or their mother. So please help us to fight. Don't treat us as disappointments. Your love can be a bandage. Compassion may be the ointment. Change starts from one of you can inspire another person. Each time you are successful, the story has a happier version. So if this touches you, if you know a Jack or Jill, how will you choose to act if the story plays out for real? We don't have to fight alone, and you don't have to get that call. Love us back up off the bridges. Senior court, don't drop the ball. So.
Wow. Is that a true story?
Based on a true story.
Powerful. Okay, so did you always know you were going to be a poet?
No, I started writing as a way to express myself. Really just kind of journaling and writing poetry for myself, for my family. And as I started sharing it with people through the years, people would encourage me to make it public. In the last couple of years, it's really been a focal point to, make it into more. It's just a way of expression that I find the only way I can really express myself and free myself through my words.
Well, it is a beautiful way to express yourself. And as I said, if you stop writing, I'm going to come after you. But to go from that, which actually you said it put you on the map. So your TikTok, because of that poem, got a lot of attention. So what happened?
So that, and then I started writing. So I write a lot about mental health too. And then those got a bunch of views and reshares on TikTok, and a lot of local support. And then I decided to create a website. The website has been doing very well lately. It used to be every time that we would post, I share it with a friend of mine. Her name is Michaela. She's also on the website. We were writing a book together, and it used to just get organic support whenever we would post, but now it's, just every day the traffic's just going up and up and up. So, we're seeing where it goes. I started doing a lot of open mics and a lot of shows lately. So
good, as you should. Well, I'm not going to should on you, but I'm going to encourage you. The self-worth one. What a beautiful contrast to Jack and Jill, because Jack and Jill is the. Do you want to close out whatever that is that's still open?
Yeah, I don't have anything open.
Oh, okay. This is so strange because I hear myself. Do you have earbuds by any chance?
I do. Let me put it in.
Okay, that might help. But I'm going to do this for a second. So for those who just tuned in, this is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KZAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. And Tim Peterson just read two of his many poems. The first one is the one that I fell in love with when I first heard it and invited him on. And the second one, Jack and Jill, is what got him more ears and continued notoriety of a good kind. So we're going to, again, I want to encourage him. So hazyspaceferry.wordpress.com. I think he's going to be doing some open mics. There's a schedule there. Please support him and what he's doing so that he can continue to the solution around mental health. I just pulled up percent of young people who are addicted, because you hear about this a lot. Just the first thing that popped up, 1 in 7 young adults has a substance use disorder. That's pretty high. I wouldn't have thought it was that high. I'm just looking down here because this is the good part of so much information available, even though 2.5 million young adults in 2017, or 7.3% of the population. And as far as I know, because of the pandemic, it has become even more prevalent. So when you were taught in the part of Jack and Jill and the sad, that suicide note, and I just want to, put there's so many resources that is available right now for people to hang on to, right? There's 12-step programs, there's rehabs, there's NAMI, there's all mental health. But one of the saddest things about addiction is many times it doesn't matter how many times you're told you're worthy, like your words in your first poem, you are enough, you are good, without doing, or people pleasing. There was that one phrase. What am I thinking of? Say that one phrase again about people pleasing. Do you remember?
Yes.
I'm putting you on the spot about your own. He wrote it 2 days
Yeah,
ago,
it's
folks.
just that I can have you in my life without people pleasing. I can accommodate without people pleasing.
Yeah. So what, from your experience, and obviously all of this is very personal, what is it that has to happen, and how can we encourage people who are addicted to start believing in themselves to act on their own behalf, which is another line that I use a lot that you have in your work, in your poem.
So I think that one of the biggest problems is people with addiction, especially young people, the people that they feel less comfortable talking to are the people closest to them because they don't want to disappoint. They don't want the anger. They don't want to let you down. And the conversation is everything, having the conversation and being able to let our young people know that they can come to us and talk to us about what's going on, and then making sure that we're educated ourselves to deal with that, knowing what resources are available and already having a plan if we know that they have a substance abuse problem, then be able to go to them with solutions, but not forcing it. The biggest thing about it is that, sobriety, the move from active addiction to sobriety is a choice that only they can make. It can't be forced. And that's one of the biggest areas that I think a lot of parents run into, is that they feel like they have to force it. But it's a very thin line because there's so much emotions attached. It's very hard for people to be able to handle that with a calm head or without their emotions breaking through. But it's a process, but I
Yeah.
think that's a big solution.
Yeah, exactly. And I will, because I'm all about solutions on this show. I know that one thing that works is Al-Anon, which is the other side of AA or NA or any of those 12-step programs, where there's active help and relief and coaching, and it's kind of like group therapy in a way that helps parents, because the anguish when parents come to me for coaching is so palpable around, your heart breaks every time you think of your child out there. And there is that fine line, as you said, between helping and then enabling, which is also heartbreaking, right, for both the parent and the individual. So that is one thing that has worked for many people. So there are resources out there. There are mental health places. If you are a parent with a child in that situation, please go look into those kinds of resources like Al-Anon or any kind. There's so much available that sometimes we are so focused on the problem, we make it bigger. And that's the one that, that's my law of attraction training, is we do what we can and then we have to sort of let it go. Because if we continue to, then every part of your life is miserable. Now, the other side of it is understanding addiction. I know for me, I couldn't understand. I remember that. Oh, shoot, we're almost out of time. Well, thank you, Tim, for coming on and sharing your beautiful words, your spoken word, and look forward to supporting your gift of words. hazyspaceferry.wordpress.com. I do this at the end of every show. If you would do it with me, it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room with Tim Peterson's beautiful words on how you can feel good about your one-of-a-kind wonderfulness. Now go and have the best day ever. Come back tomorrow. We have great guests this entire week. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.